Theo, I believe that is a career high. It feels like something has clicked, I guess, in the last couple of weeks. Your production has been higher, I would say. Is there anything specific that you've been doing?
No, I mean, just keep it consistent to the whole year, really. Just keep chipping away and keep working every day, and the results come. I mean, tonight I had a career high, but it was all off. I mean, Dalen got me 2 assists, Matt got me an assist, Dalton got me assists, just working off my teammates. So I think tonight was just a day where opportunities arose and I just had to finish them, and I did. So, yeah.
When this team's clicking, Dalen, 4 guys again in double figures tonight. It's a balanced attack. Obviously you look at you, Matt, and Dalton as the big 3, but when you can get that extra production from Theo tonight, and how big is that for this team to put up 88 points?
It's really big. Like you said, once everybody gets it clicking, then it makes it hard for the other teams to really key in on people, because everybody's going. So it's like we could go to anybody for if we need a bucket or whatever it is.
You guys left for much of the game, but when they made a nice little run there in the second half, what did the coach tell you to keep the foot on so that they didn't get any closer?
Just continuing to play defense. Just trying not to trade buckets and get stops. Just because, like the last 2 games, the reason we were able to play as well as we have is just because of the defensive end. Like, we've been getting stops and being able to get out and run and then just go from there.
Yeah, our offense clicks so much better when we're just getting stops. You got Dalen, Dalton, Matt, they just killers in transition. So once we get stops and we're out, hard to stop.
Well, how helpful is it to get bench points as well? I know y'all were struggling a little bit several weeks ago. You get an extra 10, 12, 14 points from those guys. How important is that?
Yeah, Coach Smiley always says, when we're going through the rough patch, the hoop's going to open up and people are going to start hitting. But guys like Caleb that come in and produce and preach, and it takes a load off of these 3 a little bit, I think. But it's always helpful when everyone's producing.
With your guys' experience tonight, you guys never wavered. The game, as mentioned, was never tied. You led the entire way. Once you hit that 3 by Matt. Under pressure when they cut it to 3, when they cut it to 2, did you guys have the confidence that you guys were going to close them out regardless?
Yeah, definitely. Just knowing that we've been in situations a lot, and we've been in situations where it's flipped. So just talking to each other, staying together, and making sure that we're just trying to get stops until we can separate. Because the only way for us to continue to separate and keep our lead is just by getting stops.
Yeah, I think it's just all about having confidence in your teammates. When I'm out there with these guys, and we were down 3 or 2, whatever it was, up 2 or 3. There was never ever any worry that it was going to go the other way.
How about the students again tonight? They were on Monday night. They were instrumental, but maybe not as big as a crowd. But they were still out there tonight. The coach did something special for them for what they did on Monday. So how instrumental were they in helping you guys stay focused?
Yeah, definitely. That's big time. Just seeing the students come out and support. It feels good, just to see our fellow classmates and friends just out there supporting us.
Yeah, their energy just keeps us going. Even like you say, when stuff gets a little bit hard, when we're maybe not playing as well as we can, and the energy they give just gets us right back on track. And then it's great.
Well, going into Saturday, how important is it to have 2 big wins under your belt after such a tough stretch?
It's good for us to win those. Those are 2 big games we really wanted to win. And now that we got them, now it's just taking it game by game, possession by possession, so we could just kind of try to climb our way up in the standings going into the tournament.
Yeah, I think it's we're starting to see what is winning us games. So it's good to have that little momentum going into this one. Obviously, it's a big one against SAC, they're a good team, but I think both of us, everyone's got no doubts that we're going to win.
No, we had a great crowd. I knew the community would get back out with that 6 p.m. tip. Obviously, my voice is a bit killed right now, but community was great. Students showed up. It's a great crowd. I don't know what the numbers are. David would know that, or he'll get those. But I thought the crowd was really good, and it just brings the energy. This is our 4th game in 7 days or 8 days or whatever it is. Like I said, my voice is fried. The guys are tired. But when you come out, you got a good crowd. It just makes all the difference. And so that was good. And I think the way we started the game, we've started so many games with a deficit. And so to get the lead again, kind of like we did against Weber State, we got the lead early on. It wasn't crazy, but we got the lead. And it's a lot easier, in my opinion, to play where it's even or where you have a little lead as opposed to you're down 15 and now you got to gimmick it and you got to do all this different stuff. So that was good. But I thought the guys played great tonight.
Opportunity, much like Monday night, 4 guys in double figures. At this time, it was Theo coming in with his career high 11 and big time buckets at moments
Huge.
when Portland State was making their run and cutting it to 3-2. Just talk a little bit about Theo's performance tonight.
He's just like all these guys that, he puts a lot of time in, and it's cool. It's really cool as a coach, really, rewarding when kids get a chance and they're able to perform, especially, in a situation like that. Like I said, it's late in the game. It's a close game. We got to get that win. And he was great. And then, even hitting that free throw, we can't make a free throw to save our lives. But he made that free throw. That was a big free throw late that he hit. So he's always going to bring toughness. He's always going to bring great detail. He's a very smart kid. He's a tough kid. And so to see him finish and do some things skill-wise, I thought it was great.
Well, the team feels different this week. I know last year y'all had that practice up in Flagstaff where it seemed like everything changed. Did y'all have anything similar to that this time?
We went the opposite way. We didn't practice on Sunday. And so we lost Saturday night. It was a bad game. Montana State's obviously really good. But we flew out early from Bozeman Sunday morning, and we did not practice. And we told the guys after the game, I said, look, we're going to wash it, all focused towards Weber State. It's in 48 hours. We're not going to practice tomorrow. We're going to get our bodies back. And just really, the idea for that was that you play a game, you get done at night, you get up at 5 in the morning. To me, it's just not smart. What we can get out of the practice, we can get a few things. But the bodies, that was our 3rd game in 5 days. And Weber, that was only their 2nd game in 3 days. They did not play on Thursday, so I knew that. So, for us to come in and have some crazy practice Sunday, it probably would have hurt the cause, in my opinion. So we took Sunday off. I think it was good. Our guys were really refreshed on Monday. I thought they had a good, attention to detail in our little shoot-around. And then I think the other thing that changed it, too, is just that crowd on Monday night. That was just awesome. And so it's hard to not be excited when you got all those kids out there.
Coach, you guys shot again a good efficiency, 60%, I believe, for the game.
Man.
Talk about the shooting once again tonight.
Well, again, we're always kind of built on skill and the ability to shoot. That's kind of how we build our teams and recruit. And not that every kid's a great shooter, but that's the overall theme is that we got to be able to shoot. Any of our top players, Matt, Dalton, Dalen, they can't do what they do in terms of driving to the rim if you don't have shooting and spacing around them. And so we haven't shot it that well at times this year, but we're capable of it. And when we do it, whether it's this game, Weber State, the win at CSU, we shot it well. And so it starts again with your defense. We held them tonight to 42%. And that's big for us because we've had some really bad ones. So to be able to hold them to 42%, we're so good in transition, but you can only get in transition if you get a stop.
Jalen is known as a shooter, but I know he's really worked on other aspects of his game, especially on defense. Talk about the significance of just the steps forward that he's taken.
Yeah, Dave's been great. And, people just kind of look at his stat line and say, wow, you had 22 points on 13 shots, and that's great. But, for if my vision is correct, for the 2nd straight game, 7 defensive rebounds. He did that against Weber. As a team, we chart every rebound, every effort on every shot on offense and defense. And our goal is 80%, which means that when you're in the game, 4 out of every 5 shots, obviously, you got to do your job. You get a plus for good, you get a minus for bad. And, as the stats go, like Gonzaga does it, Michigan State's in the top rebounding teams. We've always done it here. And we have not hit 80. It just hasn't been good enough. Against Weber, we were 82%. And that goes back to like Dalen. Dalen had 7 rebounds against Weber State, but his focus, his attention to detail was great. So, the rebounding is a big thing that you can focus on with Dalen. But then defensively, I thought he was so dialed into the scout. He was guarding a guy that we call a driver. And so when you're guarding a driver, you got to be spaced off in the gap and kind of provide air support for your teammates. He was awesome at that tonight. And that's not an easy thing to do because kids can get lazy, say, well, my kid can't shoot. That means you got to be more active helping the rest of the team, and he was awesome at that tonight.
Coach, talk about how this game gets you ready for the rest of the slate here. You got a few more games left before we get closer to March, and
Yep.
that's 2 in a row now. So obviously a little bit of momentum building here.
Keep rolling, yeah. I mean, just keep you keep riding the wave, and I think the cool thing about it is there's not one person in our locker room that's surprised that we're winning. That's always been our kind of our mentality and our expectation. I think we've been more surprised if we're losing, but yeah, I mean, we've got another game in 48 hours. Sac State, when we played them up there, they're really good. They lost tonight, but when we played them up there, I was like, man, these guys are. I mean, they're talented. So it's going to be a great game on Saturday, but we're trying to climb that standing in those rankings. We made up some ground these last 2 games. Now, if we can get Sac State, we got something really brewing. So it's another big one on Saturday. But I do think, based off of these first 2 games, this is the best we played all year. So we just got to find a way to keep getting a little bit better.
Also, just because I'm curious, what was the explanation on Dalton's tech?
Flop.
Okay.
There's a flop tech. So yeah, this year, if you get called for a flop, there's no dispute. There's no warning. It's an immediate one shot. It's not a foul, but it's a one shot tech. And so yeah, that could have been a big call at their place. They got 2 flop techs with about 5 minutes to go, trying to take charges. And so you see most of those like on charges, or like when guys are posting up and people are flailing around. So it's a big emphasis this year.
Did it seem like a flop to you?
I couldn't tell. Just, it happened so quick. I don't know. I don't know if there was contact or not. I'll have to watch the film, but it's a good question.
Last question for me is Caleb Shaw been struggling a little bit shooting
Yeah.
basketball from outside. I think he made the 3 to go up 11 at 6
Yep.
49. Just a confidence for him to get him boosted, because we saw early in the season where he had 18 and a big time win for you guys.
Yeah.
He can fill it up.
He
But
can.
get his confidence back for a guy that's going to play minutes like him for this stretch run.
Huge. Yeah, no, the 3 and the free throws.
Yep.
I think the Weber State game is like 1 for 4 from the free throw line, and he is a really good shooter. So it's just, the mind's a powerful thing, right? And so just sticking with it, he's working on it. But that was kind of a small breakout game for him, because I thought he was really efficient. He did a good job defensively late in the game. We were subbing him in basically to try to take out Cameron Parker, and he did a good job of that. So it was really good.